Elden Ring Nightreign is basically Jesus if he was a video game. Both involve around 8 people, both have gods and godlike beings, both involve coming back after death, but I'm going to put Nightreign in S tier and Jesus in A because OH MY GOD! The pace in this game is so fast, so engaging, so exciting, and the randomization of each run, even if it's not perfect, makes this game so replayable, and each of the characters are so unique, but equally balanced and so fun, with interesting stories, I think, with their remembrances, and the boss quality, even the reused ones, are so fantastic, and the multiplayer aspect is so good. Yet even solo, this game is amazing, and all of that makes Elden Ring Nightreign, to me, the best game ever made. Including how Revenant has her feet hanging out. Thank you, Junior Izuzaki, for not forgetting the Miyazaki tradition. Now just put in the poison swap, no rotted woods does not count, and we'll be all good. But for real now though, let's really dive deep into why this game is amazing, starting with the pace. Even though Elden Ring is in the title of this game, I would say that it has the pace of Sekiro with how fast everything is, both the exploration and combat. Speaking about the exploration side for now, it has 2 reasons for how fast it is: the night and the rain. The night closing in is probably the best aspect of this game, as it's what makes it so fast and engaging. The thought of it closing in is always in the back of your mind because you never want to be caught inside of it, obviously, and since you don't really know when it's going to close in, your mind is always racing to find what to do next to make the most of your time, and because you don't know where it's going to close in, choosing where to go is also an aspect of it. I definitely feel like if they tweaked it even a little bit, it wouldn't be the same because as it is now, it's absolutely perfect. But it's not the only perfect thing because the combat pace is also really goddamn good. I think that the pace of the combat in the open world specifically is good and fast because you basically always want to be in combat. Clearing out areas is the name of the game in Nightreign, clearing out more is obviously better, so you always try and be as fast as you possibly can. Whether it's clearing out Albernorix in a ruin or fighting Astel and Noxtella, the same thing is always rushing through your mind. This is taking too long, the night's gonna close in soon, let's hurry up. It doesn't matter if this is true or not, you simply always want to rush in this game, which leads the combat feeling much faster than it actually is, and much more stressful than it actually should, which is good in my opinion. Non-open world combat is a different story though, as, well fine, I think that the pace in those fights needs to be much higher than any other part of the game. In the exploration and open world combat pace, you are always trying to save time, which is what makes it so fast, but at the end of nights, time is over, so you don't really care now, so it's gonna feel much slower. Not every night boss has bad pacing, as I think Morgott, Godskin Duo, Nameless King, and all of the Night Lords are very fast and engaging, but a lot of bosses just aren't. A lot of the night bosses, while good, just aren't engaging enough and need to be faster. I wish they all had the pace of Sekiro bosses, as I think that would lend itself well to the 3-player formula, and even single player would still be very engaging and fair. Now, the pace of this game just wouldn't be the same without the randomization because, wouldn't you know, this roguelite, a genre based on randomization, has randomization that I think could be a lot better. Don't get me wrong, I think the randomization is good, but not very good. For example, I think that the bases are not randomized enough as they only have 2 spawn locations, map A, map B, and I wish there were more varied locations, plus each camp has icons that tell you what weapons are there and what enemies are there, and this might sound crazy, but I wish it wasn't there because it would allow for what I think the best parts of the game are. The moments where shit doesn't go your way, and the reason I think these moments are so good is because they require you to improvise and would incentivize more build diversity. But bases aren't the only thing that needs to be more random in the map because I think shifting earth events also need to be just random in general. Instead of having a little blurb on the side telling you what shifting earth you have, I think every match you should get a different shifting earth because the shifting earth events are probably the coolest thing in the open world aspect of the game that's not utilized that good because they don't happen enough. To get the screenshot you saw earlier, I had to go to deltasgaming.com because I just wasn't getting shifting earth events no matter matter how many bosses I did. There are also the random events that happen in the world, like Morgoth invading and Blue Elden Beast invading, and these are very good, but I just think there needs to be more of them and they need to happen more often. Now I know I just complained about the randomization, but I do think it's implemented well. I just wish it was better and more random. Anyways, talking about the characters now, because I don't know how to do a good transition. Holy fuck, they are good. Each and every Nightfarer is unique and plays completely different. Wilder being versatile, good with everything, but being best with great swords, having basically an extra life, having the best mobility with his grapple hook allowing him to zip and zoom, and having probably the best single target ultimate in the game. Guardian being the tank, being able to block even the heaviest attack with his shield stance, his whirlwind useful for stunning enemies or getting rid of status clouds, and his ultimate being useful for rezzing and if you hold it makes them invincible. Iron Eye being the bow guy, able to get better items than the others, able to mark enemies and allow for higher damage and good mobility, and his ult able to wipe out entire enemy groups at once. Duchess being the Dex in character, being best used with fast attacking, status blocking weapons and high damage spells because of her restage ability, doing everything you just did in the last few seconds again, and her invisibility cloak being very useful for rezzing teammates or getting in close without having to worry about getting attacked. Raider being the strength character, useful with big honking slabs of metal, his uppercut being useful to tank damage or, if it's charged up, deal a hefty amount of poise damage staggering anything it hits. And his totem is good for groups, buffing yourself and teammates, and giving more ground to position yourself well. Revenant being the support character, being able to use her summons to help out while she stays back, and her ultimate only really being useful to res teammates except if you have relics that buff it. Recluse being the caster, her magic cocktail being the most in-depth ability in the game, allowing for many combinations depending on what you need, whether it be damage, both single target and AoE, healing, buffing, or defense, and her ultimate being very good for getting health and FP back. Executor or Executor being the pure Dex character, being best used with katanas, having his Sekiro-like deflect and his ult where he unleashes the wolf inside him, allowing for high single target and multi-target damage. With the amount of variety each character gives, each feels like a unique experience that plays very different than the others, and none are worse than others. I think they are all equal in power despite what others might say. Another thing I like about the characters is the remembrances. The story they all tell is probably good. I didn't really pay attention to most of them, but when I did, I thought the story was very interesting and entertaining. Especially Raiders and Revenants, as they are the most unique. Even though most remembrance quests are just go here, kill something, get something, you're done, each do feel special and make sense for the character. The rewards for the remembrances too are fun, as you get relics that give unique buffs, chalices that have a white spot allowing for any relic, and skins that usually suck, unfortunately. Wilder. Relics too are also an aspect of the characters, and yeah, they're good. Sure, most relics are useless, but so? If they were all useful, it would be overwhelming to choose which ones you want, and I think that they, boss relics specifically, allow for a good amount of playstyle variation. For example, the charm you get for beating Gladius gives stamina with successful attacks, so if you're someone like Raider who usually wants big slow weapons, you might want to use fist weapons or something that's faster to get the most out of it, which in turn gives Raider an entirely different feel. On the topic of boss relics, take out the relic part so we can just talk about bosses. The boss quality in Nightreign is probably as good or better than DS3 because even the reused bosses are very good. As I said before in the pace section, I do think they need to be faster, but they are still fun and have good quality with the way they are now. I just wish they were harder, as the only bosses I actually find myself failing to are the Night Lords, but that's fine, as I think the Night Lords are some of the best bosses FromSoft has ever made. Since they are based around 3 people fighting them, they can have as many AoE bullshit stupid moves in the game, and it still feels fair because it's 1v3, which leads to amazing spectacles, very engaging fights, and most importantly, challenge. Now imagine that I put a good transition here, because now I'm going to talk about the multiplayer and solo aspect for a quick second. To get this out of the way, no voice chat with random suck and no crossplay sucks, but honestly I don't really care. Join a Discord if voice chat is such a big issue for you, and make friends if your other friends aren't on your console. The ping system works pretty good for randoms, and sure, sometimes you get paired with someone who sucks and doesn't follow orders, but that can happen in literally every multiplayer game ever made. I do think it's stupid weird that you can't do multiple remembrances at a time because I don't see why it would be an issue. But what if you don't want to play with other people? Well, there's solo play and it's pretty good. They scaled everything down in solo play by a shit ton, and this works out great as none of the night bosses feel too easy or too hard. The night lords though are brutal in solo because wouldn't you know it, the bosses made for 3 people are hard with only 1, but I'm fine with that as I like the challenge. Now imagine again I put an even better transition here because it's time for this video to end. Thank God. After all of the shit I just said, would I say that Nightreign is an absolute masterpiece of a game? Yes, I would actually, because to me, it is. This game is my favorite game of all time, but I don't think to many it is, because this game has many flaws that detract from the experience. But so does everything, and I can overlook those flaws because at the end of the day, all I want to do is to be able to sit down and have a quick run through a Souls experience, doing a different type of build each time, maybe having a good time with some friends or randos, and that's exactly why I'm giving Elden Ring Nightreign an Elden Ring Nightreign out of an Elden Ring Nightreign. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first time doing a review on anything, so please let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, what I could improve on, and if I should or shouldn't do this type of video again. Then subscribe, like, all that junk, but most importantly, take care of yourself, as I hope you all stay safe, and I also hope to see all of you again soon.